Welcome back to the Gospel Fantasy Football Show. The time is drawing nigh, good people. We are just about in the thick of it. A couple more weeks, we will have real fantasy football to talk about. We will be getting you ready for such things today with one of my favorite episodes of the year. That's my man's in them episode. Shout out to the late great DMX. This is a show where we stake our claim on who will be league winners this year. You may have heard the likes of Sam Darnold last year. You may have heard the likes of Scary Terry last year. You may have heard the likes of Chase Brown last year. These are all guys that we saw extreme value in, and more so than just the value, we saw top end production more often than not. That's what we're going to be talking about. League winners. I am your Jose, the fantasy football fiend, and I have my guy, Young Vanda, the fantasy Nostradamus. Holla at the people.
Hey, what's going on out there?
So, yeah, let's just hop right into it. We'll go position by position. Um, I'll throw out a few candidates for me, and then kind of break it down and give you who I eventually came to as being my man's in them for that particular position. And Vander will let you know what his process is going to be. Vander, why don't you go ahead and start us out? Let us know how you went about figuring out who your man's is going to be, and give us your candidates.
Well, my thing is this: for anybody that's been listening to the show for the last couple of years, I'm not the guy that's gonna pick a guy that's already ranked top three or something, and then make it seem like, oh, I predicted something so great. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going, oh, Lamar Jackson's a breakout, and it's not going to be that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be somebody that you probably didn't see coming, um, of value that's probably going to win your league, and it's going to be beneficial versus picking the well-known guy. So with that being said, for me, we start at the quarterback position. I'm gonna go with my guy Trevor Lawrence. Um, I spoke about him prior before in seasons past, but he had this new and improved head coach, new and improved OC, and Leon Cohen. You got BTJ returning. You got the addition of the Biletnikoff and the Travis Hunter, uh, and we've seen Leon uh, fix guys. Get the best out of guys. He kind of revives Baker Mayfield's career, and I think it's gonna be no different here. Um, I'm going a limb, and I'm gonna say Trevor Lawrence will finish at QB1 this year. So
And right now, he's going as QB number 20. So that's getting a return on your investment for sure. Um,
absolutely. So there you go. As you got a guy that's ranked 20, I see maybe high 17 ish in that range. So if you can get QB1 output at that number, I mean,
and
it's
when we
going to
say QB1, that's normally referring to QBs 1 through 12, as most fantasy leagues are 12-team leagues. If you are in the 10-team league, then that would mean that if he's going to be a QB1, he would be top 10 or just outside of that, still making the top 12. So that's where we are with Vander. So I had to do a little bit of triage here because there were about five guys that I kind of felt could either break out or end up being much, much higher than where they're currently been drafted as far as quarterback is concerned. Trevor Lawrence was kind of an honorable mention for me. He ended up being like my fourth guy. These are the three guys that I see being an extreme value, and then I'll tell you who ends up being my man's. So, first up, Dak Prescott. He is currently QB 12. I expect Dak to actually be a high end QB1. So I do see value with where he's currently being drafted. I believe barring injury, he will exceed his current draft position, and he's going to make you a happy camper in a 2 QB league. Even a 1 QB league, you don't have to draft him all that high based on where he's going. In 1 QB leagues, people tend to kind of let the QB fall a little bit. The second guy, QB number 16, Drake May. Seeing The Patriots offense look exactly like McDaniel's offense is normally run. And we'll talk about that again in a moment. But I believe that based on what has happened in years past, the Patriots skill players in general are at a steep discount. And I don't see Drake May not being a QB1 barring injury to him or one of his go-to guys. I'll put it that way. I can see this thing really working out well for the offense. Whether that will equate to wins, we'll see how that works out, but they will definitely be putting up points. And the last guy that came to mind is QB 26, Geno Smith. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but the Raiders are going to be going up against several teams that have no problem putting up points. They're pretty much going to be in go mode from the first through the fourth quarter. Geno Smith has several guys that are running go get it guys. And then he has your possession guys like your Jacoby Myers of the world and your Brock Bowers of the world. So I believe that in its totality, Geno Smith is actually in a better position as a quarterback than he was when he was in Seattle. And I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but it wasn't so long ago that Geno Smith was QB5 in all of fantasy. He has the weapons in that offense and the situation where he'll be behind enough that they can't just go to the run game, where I believe he's going to be a quarterback that outweighs his value to the point that that's my guy. That's my man's in there. I can see him vastly outperforming being quarterback 26. And there's another couple of guys that are within that same range that if you chose to go QB late, or if you chose to go in a single QB league, maybe you chose to, make a QB one of your last picks because there's still QBs on the waiver by the time the draft is over. This is going to be one of those guys that are there, and I believe you would be pleasantly surprised. He's still getting slept on to this day. So, for quarterback, my man's in there, Geno Smith.
I'm gonna talk about two other guys real quick.
Okay.
That I love. Firstly, CJ Stroud. I know he had a down sophomore year, but I think it's time for a breakout. Also has a new OC, another Sean McVay minion, and I mean that respectfully. Additional weapons. You have Christian Kirk added. You had the two rookies out of Iowa State. That boy Higgins looking like the real deal on the outside. And they may have to pass a little bit more. I mean, with the Joe Mixon news going on, who knows? That run game may not be as good. So now the one fear I do have is the offensive line. But their defense probably will put them in some pretty good scoring positions. I like CJ Stroud as a value. And lastly, my guy, Michael Penix. If you look at the last few games that he started, look pretty good. The lack of rushing, of course, is going to be limited as far as the upside to go. But where he's being drafted at, I find him an extreme value as well. I see him low as 22. So I think that's a value as well. Someone who can probably creep up at that bottom end QB1, high QB2. So I like him as well.
Another couple of guys that I believe have high value are Bryce Young at QB 25 and Sam Darnold at QB 27. So there's a cluster towards the end of the QBs where you start to get extreme value again. So if you don't get your guy early, don't just get a guy for the sake of getting a guy, because there are going to be some guys that you can get late that I believe they're going to have some extreme value. Those are the guys that can win you leagues, because when they outperform, it matters. That's why I am at quarterback. Moving right along, where you want to go next? Running back or wide receiver?
Yeah, we can go to running back.
RB, what you got?
RB 29th ranked on my board. Well, as far as his ranking, they have him at 29. He's not 29 on my board. But I'm gonna go with RJ Harvey, the rookie. We see Sean Payton. We know what he does when he get his guys, and you hardly ever see Sean Payton have a running back that's not a RB1 once he get the guy that he wants. This is a pretty good offensive line, extremely good defense. So it's going to be a lot of short fields out there. This running back can fit in small spaces, run behind his pads. And out the gate, he may share a little bit with J.K. Dobbins, but we all know J.K. Dobbins is no stranger to injury. So as the year go on, I think this guy's going to be extreme value. And if you can get an RB1 that's ranked 29, I mean, you can't beat it. So he's my guy, or one of my guys. Now, the next two guys I'm going to talk about it comes with a disclaimer, caveat, whatever word you want to use. I think Zach Charbonnet is a very interesting running back. He's down the running back.
Is that a barring injury situation?
Definitely.
Or regardless?
No, it's a not if, but when.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because Kenneth Walker Jr., again, he's already banged up leading into the season. He does this every year. He's China man. You know what I'm saying? And I mean China as in fine China, not, you know what I'm saying? But Sheikh Charbonnet, this is a guy that's ranked 38. But overnight can become an RB1 overnight. He's in the right system. You got Kubiak up there. He looks, if you watch the preseason, he's been looking really good in that zone scheme. Really good. I think this is a guy that you want to draft late, you don't have to be Kenneth Walker owner. Grab this guy because we're talking about down the stretch. When it gets to fourth quarter of the season, it's down the stretch playoff time. This is going to be one of those guys that win your season. And again, he's ranked 38, and overnight he can become an RB1. And lastly, your boy, and it all about the news, Trevion Henderson, the young sprout rookie. He's not just no pass catcher. I know a lot of people want to put him as just like the third down guy. He's the new James White, or he's the new Stephen Ridley, or he's the new Vereen. You know, any of these guys, Kevin Falk, any of these guys you see the pictures have of old. No, this guy's over 200 pounds. And he can run between the tackles. If you remember,
and he can pass protect, so they don't have to take him off the field at all.
Excel. He's one of the already as a rookie, one of the best pass pro running backs in the league as a rookie. If you remember, he's at Ohio State his rookie season. I think he had like 1,500 yards or something crazy.
And he was humble enough to not care about sharing the rock with the person that was coming behind him. So they just had like a 1A, 1B situation versus it being a, hey, I'm the guy and you get what you can.
So this dude can definitely win your league, PPR leagues. He may be amazing. If he can get on the Ramondre Stevenson, we all know he a fumble. He's already kind of banged up already, but he will drop the ball on that carpet. If this guy can get on the field, hear me closely. Pay attention. If this guy can get on the field on early downs, he's Jahmyr Gibbs. That's just what you're going to get. However you feel about Jahmyr Gibbs, if this dude can get on the field on the first and second down, he is that.
But I'll take that a step further because he's on my list as well. Just as with Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't think it'll matter if another running back is involved because of how much they can use him regardless. No different than Gibbs and David Montgomery were both RB1s, and they both had one of the higher touchdown rates in the league. The difference is this. Ramondre Stevenson hasn't shown himself to be David Montgomery. So Henderson can find himself with more volume than what Gibbs found prior to Montgomery getting injured. So I completely agree with you there. Currently RB20, I believe that
He's been rising.
Yeah, he's rising. Yeah,
He's rising fast. People are starting to pay attention. But the dude is special, man. I mean, the boy,
he is.
the wheel route, like in practice. I know you're a Patriot guy, so you've been seeing the dude unguardable. Like it's just what it is. Like
Anything you throw at him, he gonna catch it. But at the same time, once he catches it, he turns back into a running back.
Yeah,
like he's not he's not gonna be easy to bring down.
Yeah.
Like he's a yak guy. He's a catch guy. He's a create my own yards guy. Like whatever you want in a running back, he can fit your system.
Yeah, he real deal.
Yeah,
he real deal.
My other guy, RB28, Caleb Johnson. They're already trying to move him ahead of Jalen Warren, who is a good running back in and of himself with great value based on where he's currently been drafted. But with this Arthur Smith system, we know that it's going to be run first. And I just like knowing who's going to get the ball on the goal line. Warren is not a goal line back. And Caleb has some of the wiggle that you see from Warren, plus the power that you saw from Najee. So for this offense, and based on where you can get him, this is a guy. If you ended up with studs at wide receiver and then ended up with a combination of a Henderson and Johnson type situation, or maybe you get both Johnsons and Henderson. I would love that as far as running back is concerned, and a Charbonnet, right? So you can figure out running back as you go along, as long as you have a guy that you know will be involved some way, shape, form, or fashion, even if you won't see what that full fruition is going to be just yet. The other guy that I had on my list, he's currently RB12, actually. That's Chase Brown. If the Bengals offense is going to be what their defense is going to allow it to be, there's going to be a lot of touchdowns to be scored from this team, because they're going to have to put up 30 points a game just to have a chance at winning, especially if they do what I'm hoping they do, which is trade what is it, Hendrickson, their pass rush specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that they go ahead and trade him to New England. It's looking good. We can pay him, and we can probably give up more than some of the other teams that are out there. I'm hearing Eagles. Our pick is going to be better than theirs for sure. Although I have high hopes for our team this year, but our pick will be better than theirs, and then we can actually offer the player more money as well. So that would be like the cherry on top of our defense. But what I'm saying is, it looks like their best defender on a really, really bad defense is either going to be traded or he will just choose to sit for a minimum of 6 weeks. They are going to put up 30 points a game. And all you need from Brown, especially in PPR, even if he doesn't score, I see him putting up 12 to 14 points. And on the weeks that he does score, he's going to be putting up close to 20 points. And if you can get that from your running back consistently, and you didn't have to draft him as high as some of these other RBs are going, based on what else you were able to draft in front of him, your team is going to be stacked. So that's the other guy that I have my eye on. He's a little bit higher, but Chase Brown. Moving on to wide receiver. Well, wide receiver, I actually have a few here that are actually, I'm sorry, let me take a step back real quick. I do have another running back. This is a guy who I believe this is going to be one of those, well, duh, but think about it. Right now, you can get a guy in the mid to late rounds, depending on your league, that is normally the number one overall drafted person when healthy. I'm talking about CMC. Although you do have to draft him early, don't hear what I'm not saying. You actually have a shot at getting him without having the first pick. That's a value in and of itself. If this guy, I'll put it to you like this. There hasn't been a season where he remained healthy for the majority of the season and wasn't not a RB1, but a top RB1. So if you aren't banking on injury and you're able to see where he's being drafted, if I'm at the back end and I can come back around and then pair him with another running back or a high end wide receiver, that's a great start to a draft that you would normally not be able to get in most years. And it kind of helps with the fact that San Francisco has one of the easier schedules based on their win-loss record from last year. So, yeah, that's going to be another guy that I know it's like a well dub, but he's still going to be an extreme value where he's currently being drafted. So some of you guys that are actually drafting a little bit closer to the front, my advice to you is don't be scared of CMC because he is that dude that can put up QB points every week. And if you pair him with a Geno Smith or Drake May that vastly outperforms where you drafted him, you kick him with hot grease at that point. Wide receivers. I have a few here because the highest ranked wide receiver I have is 18. Right now, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going as wide receiver 18. I believe this year he will be a wide receiver 1. He had 28% target share last year. And that was with starting out kind of rocky and not getting nearly the target share that we thought it should get. So if that was the case in the beginning of the season, that means the opposite and equal was the case in the back end for him to end up with the overall 28% target share, which is one of the highest in the NFL. So if you extrapolate that over a whole season, I expect him to be one of the highest percentage target hogs in the entire league. He's put on weight, he's put on muscle. I believe he's going to be able to get several of those one-on-ones and those rip it out of your hands before you rip it out of mine. And a couple of more of those, and his name would have been ringing bells like some of his counterparts did last year. But only because of what they did last year did his name not ring, because it wasn't like he had a bad season. So at 18, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. Then I have wide receiver 22, Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton, I believe, will be a wide receiver 1. I don't know who's going to get pushed down. It may be due to injury. I don't know, but this guy, again, I'm looking at target share and what happens when the ball is thrown to you. Courtland Sutton will have a huge target share. He has a guy that's going to be in the second year of a Sean Payton offense that tends to be pretty good for all offensive pieces involved. And I just really feel like after paying him and not having a whole bunch of other people to throw the ball to, you can expect big things from Sutton. The last two guys I have, wide receiver 40 and wide receiver 47. Wide receiver 40, Stephon Diggs. Again, talking about volume, talking about being able to get a guy who is fully capable of being a wide receiver 1 as long as he stays healthy. Well, you can get that guy at wide receiver 40. I don't know that there's a better value on the board in general, to be honest with you. There aren't too many fantasy candidates that you can get in the 40s of any position. So that's a guy that I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on in several drafts. And then lastly, wide receiver 47 is falling into the sweetest of spots. And if you are in a PPR league, this guy can be a league winner. Emeka Egbuka, Tampa Bay. Your boy Godwin, still on the pup list. The breakout from last year, McMillan, he's going to be out for a good chunk of the season. That means they basically have 2 receivers, and one of them don't catch volume balls. He catches red zone balls. That's Mike Evans. So where are we going to throw the ball? We know Baker's going to throw, and we know whoever he throws to tends to do pretty well when targeted. I believe he's going to be that guy, and if he is that guy, at wide receiver 47. Look, extreme value in this position for wide receiver. I got to run with two guys, Diggs and Ibuka. That's my man's in there. If I would be as bullish on them as saying if they were my wide receivers 2 and 3, I would be extremely happy about it. You give me a early wide receiver, and then I have those two to fill in along with whoever else, whatever other values I find to go on my bench. I'm a happy camper there.
Man, I love Ibuka, man. That's like when you talk about storybook. I mean,
it's setting up.
We spoke about him. I didn't have him ranked the number 1 wide receiver coming out, of course, but I said he was the most NFL ready. And that's looked to be the deal. I mean, if you look down in Tampa, the coaches are raving about him, the quarterbacks are raving about him, his teammates. He could play all 3 positions at wide receiver.
He may have to.
And I mean, I put it to you like this. I'm gonna go a little step further than you. You spoke about him being at 47. How do you feel about, and this ain't to you, but this is to the listener. How do you feel about a healthy Chris Godwin? That's what you're getting at 47. You're getting that. You're going to get that caliber, I think, of production at 47. So wherever you thought you would have drafted Chris Godwin at, you probably can get that at 47. Because, I mean, X, Z, slot, he play them all top. So it don't matter, like you said, from 20 to 20, he's going to kill it. You probably see Mike Evans maybe eyeing more when it comes to the red zone. But I think from 20 to 20, as far as chain moving, PPR, he's going to be a problem. And, I mean, Mike Evans going to draw most of the coverage. And this is a guy, I'm telling you.
And Bucky Irvin going to draw the safety.
He may be a rookie, but you don't want to give him one-on-one with your corner. I promise you. Like
but here's the thing, though. He's going to be one-on-one with the corner because right. The safety going to have to cheat and make sure Bucky Irvin ain't driving it down the middle down their throat.
That's what I'm saying. So, this is a dude you don't want to go one-on-one with. He that special. So I'm with you. Like, I love him. I think he gonna, man, that McMillan news has just really, like,
I hope the ADP don't shoot up because of the McMillan news.
It got to.
But even if he does shoot up, we don't have enough time for him to get to where he should be. We don't have enough time in between now and the drafts for him to really move. And the reason it won't is because he 9 times out of 10 won't play again. So where he is, people will kind of forget about the fact that he can be special because they won't see him again until it's too late. Till after they draft to be the next time they see him.
I'm gonna start with my guy, man, Calvin Ridley, Tennessee. They didn't really bring in anybody to challenge him as far as targets go.
No.
He had a pretty good season last year, and that was a quarterback carousel. And now you're bringing in a better quarterback, the young rookie Cam Ward, who's going to have some growing pains for sure. Mm-hmm. But if you watch preseason, things like that, he's been looking for this guy, and he just throws a way better ball than what Kevin really is accustomed to. So due to volume in that, and also in that Jamar Chase role that he's in, but his coach, I think he's an extreme value. Now, this is on this one. Catch the train before it goes.
Okay.
I'm telling people, and I'm not saying it because I'm a homer. I'm just telling you what it is. PPR, Ricky Pearsall, whatever you want to call it. I'm telling you, get on before it goes, because once it's gone, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be PPR juggernaut. Debo out of town. Ayuk injured. Jennings, he wants some money. It's only him and Kittle. And to be honest with you, Kittle be the guy that's probably going to see most of the coverage because he's the guy that everybody's going to be, you know what I'm saying? Pearsall, last two, whenever you get a chance, people, listeners, don't believe me, go look at the last couple games he had last year. And if you watch him in preseason, it's just a continuation. That's why this guy was drafted. He was drafted to replace Debo. He's there. He has arrived. I think go ahead and get on before the train take off. And I'm not sure where he's ranked at. I want to say he was.
Parasol?
He's on mine. They had him at number 40. On mine. He's probably a little low on the one you had. Because your guy
41. No, 41. So give or take, same position.
Man, I'm telling you, PPR animal. This is gonna be one of the ones I'm talking about.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Parasol is at 41. Stephon Diggs is at 40. Who do I get?
I'm taking in the PPR, I'm taking Persol.
Okay. In the standard league.
In the standard, I'd probably be Diggs in the standard.
Okay.
He's gonna be that a la touchdown dependent. I look at him as that, like the Mike Evans in a way. You know what I'm saying? How Mike Evans, he's kind of touchdown dependent. He'll have 37 yards and have 2 touchdowns, like you know what I'm saying? Like, and still have a good fantasy week. You know what I'm saying? Where Pearsall may not get a touchdown, but he may have 9 catches for 91 yards. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just think in the PPR aspect, I think Pearsall is the better pick. I think in the standard, I would say Diggs is the better choice. And lastly, this guy, he also is going to be, he's going to have his best numbers he had so far in his career. That's for one. He's kind of touchdown dependent, but his skill set fits where he's at now, and that's George Pickens. I think you can get a really good quality wide receiver here. We all know he's one of those wide receivers that like to get vertical. Dak Prescott, if you look at the percentages, he's one of the higher percentage vertical passers in the game. And I think it's just like a match made in heaven. He's going to see a lot of one-on-one due to CeeDee Lamb. And acrobatic 50-50 balls, that's him. And those are the kind of balls that Dak throws. It's like they just made for each other. Like, this is a perfect fit.
Yeah. And with the fact that Dak can throw the ball that he likes to throw against the lesser corner versus it always having to go to the side of the better corner because you only normally have one wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, that's why I have Dak on as one of my guys, as one of my candidates as far as quarterback is concerned, because we've seen him finish as high as 7 with only having CeeDee Lamb, essentially. So when you got Pickens on the other side, you got Ferguson at tight end. We'll see what happens at running back. But they tend to use the running back out of the backfield, catching the ball a little bit too. But even if running back doesn't end up working out well, that just means more rushing touchdowns for that, which ain't a bad thing for fantasy. So that's George Pickens, and also me believing that Lamb could be the number 1 wide receiver this year. That combination is why that has to be better than QB 12, which is where he's currently been drafted. Like I barring injury, there is no way he don't outperform his ADP.
And also the lack of the run game that they're going to have.
Yeah,
they're going to sling this thing around. So this ain't the Cowboys of old where you think they're going to. No, they're not going to run the ball. They're going to be passing the ball.
And they don't have the O-line that they had previously too to help. See, they're used to being able to allow a lackluster running back to look better than they actually are because the O-line was actually better than most thought. But now with the O-line not being what it used to be and you not correcting that practice, you're going to really see what a mediocre line and a mediocre running back produces you. More passing yards. That's all you're going to be able to get out of that offense, unfortunately. All right, so rounding it out, tight ends. What you got?
Tight end's so ugly. But let's go with the 10th ranked tight end.
Okay. You started right behind where I started.
Well, 10th rank on this list.
I got tight ends 7, 8, and 9, and then 19.
Okay. Tyler Warren.
Okay. He's one of my honorable mentions, yeah. He may be the best pass catcher in Indy already.
There you go. He should step right into that starting role. I mean, possibly, like you said, the best pass catcher. They just announced that Daniel Jones is going to be the starter. and I mean he's been tearing up camp. Preseason looks really good. Think about this. Okay, here you go. Watch this. Who was the number one tight end last year?
Number one overall, Kittle, I believe.
Or Bowers, right?
Depending on your score, yeah.
Okay, he was a what? A rookie.
Mm-hmm.
The year before that,
Sam Laporta, I believe,
and he was a
rookie. Yeah,
3 times the charm, baby. A rookie. Tyler Warren, I think he's going to be that guy. I mean, he runs out the catch very well. He's also a guy that they'll line up in the backfield. I mean, he ran some Wildcat in college. Don't be surprised if you get it. I seen him run a little bit of fullback in practice. Don't be surprised if he gets some handoffs. He's just going to be a guy that's all around that offense. And again, I think he's going to get his target share is probably going to be a lot larger than most rookies that you see.
Agreed. Because even if everyone stays healthy, they really don't have anyone to take targets away. I mean, the best wide receiver they have is Michael Pittman, and he's a guy. Like I'm starting to feel about Pittman kind of how I felt about Gabe Davis when he was with Buffalo. Like he's supposed to be something more, but I don't know that he can be. Warren may be the guy. So yeah, I like that.
And also a nice sneaky play, sneaky value due to the quarterback at the moment. And that's David Njoku, Cleveland Browns.
He's on my list.
He's a name that nobody really talks about. But if you go back to 23, when Joe Flacco was there, he was getting peppered. I mean, he was the number one. I mean, people are like, oh, it's not good for Judy. It's good for this dude, that Flacco's at quarterback. And he peppered him with targets. So, and week 1, he got Cincinnati, who was the worst team in the league against the tight end. So he's probably going to be playing DFS. He's going to be probably your value play this week at tight end, but the first week. But for me, as long as Flacco's at quarterback, I like him. But again, tight end is one of those positions that if you don't have the top tier guys, everybody's is kind of like this far away from each other. So I got Tyler Warren as my guy.
I have tight end 7, 8, and 9 as extreme value, and I'll take either of the 3 that I can get here. Mark Andrews is currently tight end 7. David Njoku is tight end 8. And Evan Ingram is tight end 9. I see a similar range of outcomes for all 3. I see a similar range of usage for all 3. They're one of the better pass catchers in all of their offenses. The same prognosis that we're given for Warren and the logic behind it, they're in a similar situation, except we know with Andrews, we know what we get when he's healthy. With Ingram, we know what we get when he's healthy. We know what we get from a Sean Payton tight end in general. Sean Payton referred to this man as a Swiss Army knife. That means a lot coming from that guy when he used Taysom Hill the way he did. That's all I'm saying. Tight end 19 was the number 1 percentage of target share on his team last year. He has a new OC. His new OC strategically and based on volume as well, uses the tight end as much as or more than just about any other quarterback in recent years, going back maybe a decade. And lastly, still one of the best pass catchers. And he's free. You can literally not draft the tight end at all, make a trade, open up a spot, and get this dude off the waivers. And that's Hunter Henry. McDaniels always focused on the tight end. Before McDaniels was there, Hunter Henry had the highest percentage of targets. What do you think is about to happen? And you can get him for free? Yeah, if I can get that guy because I was able to get value that I just couldn't pass up in other positions, I'm not worried about it because he's my worst case scenario at tight end. If all else fails and the guy right before I can get Andrew sniped them, and right before I can get Njoku, right before I can get Ingram, right before I can get Warren, all these guys that I see extreme value in, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to jump out the window at tight end because this dude will be there. And that pretty much wraps it up. Any final thoughts about league winners or things to consider when attempting to judge what a league winner may look like?
The league winners tend to be the guys that you don't see coming. You know what Lamar Jackson is going to give you. You know what Josh Allen is going to give you. You know what Derrick Henry is going to give you. You know what Jamar Chase is going to give you. And that's all fine and dandy. But the thing is all about finding the diamonds in the rough, the guys that were ranked, that end up being top tier at their position, like a Brock Bowers of last year, like a Sam Darnold of last year, like a Chase Brown of last year. These guys were nowhere to be found a lot of times when you was in your draft room. And these are the guys that spank you, all the guys that helped you lift that trophy last year. And that's what we try to do here, is give you those guys that's in those spots. So I like to display these guys and highlight these guys, because when you're in your draft room and time is ticking, you try to figure out who you should take. These are some of the names you need to be saying. Oh, Ibuka. You know how, because you can very well be panicking, right? For instance, you got a guy like Ibuka who's ranked
47 right now.
Okay.
As far as ADP. No. 47 is his ADP, not his rank.
Okay. And he's low
for rank or ADP?
And he's low as 54 on my list, right?
As far as ADP?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, you need a wide receiver this round. You're looking for wide receivers, and you're in your draft room. Now, I'm gonna give you a few names that's in front of him: Rashad Bateman, Rashid Shaheed, Josh Downs, Keon Coleman. I don't want none of these. I want Ibuka. So this is some of the guys we're going to highlight and tell you, because a lot of people like to draft what they see, and they feel like that's the best because it's shown the highest rank at that position available. So you'll want to pick that. No, Ibuka is clearly in front of all these guys. I go even further. You got Cooper Kupp, Darnell Mooney, Khalil Shakir, Michael Pittman. I don't want any of them. I want Ibuka. So I just named about 8 guys that's ranked ahead of him that I'd rather have him. So, of course, we're going to highlight these guys. So when you are in your draft room, you need these positions, you can go back and remember, nah, I'm taking Ibuka right here, because guess what? If I don't get him here, he's not coming back. If you're picking at the back of your draft, once it goes this way and back this way and there's 19 picks later, he's gone. And if you're picking at the front and it goes to the back and come back 19 picks later, he's gone. So I like to get guys sometimes, and as we get into draft strategy and things like that, sometimes you got to get around ahead. Sometimes you got to pick around ahead for the guys that you want, because you'll start looking down the draft and think, okay, my guy's coming up. I can get him next time. No, you can't.
Sometimes you got to be 2 rounds ahead. I mean, because the same way. The thing, if I feel a certain way about a guy and you feel a certain way about a guy, and we both thinking about picking him around early, for one of us, it ain't going to work out because we both had that same idea. So my thing is, where you're drafting a guy only matters during the draft. What do I mean by that? Have you ever ended a draft and then someone attempted to come offer you a trade or whatever the case may be, and you really look at it for what it's worth, and maybe a case where a guy that's being offered, you wouldn't even give up a guy that you picked 2-3 rounds later than the guy that's being offered. And then the person that's trying to trade with you, well, I got him in the 4th round. Well, your fault. I wouldn't have got him in the 4th round. Like where you're drafting a person literally only matters during the draft. It has nothing to do with what I'm going to be willing to give up for him if you try to trade him to me. So make sure that you're getting your guys. Don't just jump out the window and get a guy 3 or 4 rounds early just because you got a feeling about him. Don't hear what I'm not saying. But don't think that you're just going to, the guy I want is number 10 on the rankings list, and I only have 9 people in front of me. I'm a shoe in to get him. No, it don't work that way.
Right.
So you're better off being around too early versus being around too late, and making sure that once you identify guys that are on your list, be willing to pick those guys up early versus just picking a guy because it looks like he should outrank. Nah, you didn't go through everything you went through in the offseason to just get whoever Yahoo, ESPN, NFL.com, Sleeper says should be next. Follow your gut and go with what your research shows you. And that pretty much go ahead.
No, it's fun. I mean, you 100% right on. It's funny because with me and you in the leagues we in, this is what we go through. If I'm picking and I know this dude behind me, sometimes I have to reach, and I know it's the same way with him because this dude ain't coming back. He gonna take him, and I know he gonna take him. It's like I don't worry about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? I just worry about I know what this dude gonna do. And it's like, damn, I gotta reach, grab this guy in the round I want him because, I mean, we here. You know what I'm saying?
And it ain't purposeful, but sometimes we just really feel a certain way about the same dudes.
Absolutely.
Like, and it may be because something you said 3 months ago. I ain't even said nothing about it, but I remember. And I'm hoping you don't. It work out that way sometimes. Like sometimes it may be like you said something in this show that I was just like, I think I'm gonna take that guy a little bit further up my board because good point. And if you have fantasy buddies that you're in leagues with, that you talk fantasy with during the off season, guess what? When you're in that draft room, we cool after the draft, but we're not friends right now. So there is no such thing as, that was my guy.
That's right.
My guy, not he available. I mean, like, if you want him, but outside of that,
they send me something. Send me a trade. It's your guy. Come get him. Send me something for him. Absolutely.
And that's exactly what happens as soon as the draft is over. So you're better off. This is the funny part. I've seen this literally happen. The guys that you drafted in round 6 and 7, you try to put together to get a guy that somebody else drafted just a few picks after you in round 6 or something like that. And they don't want your 2 back-to-back picks. They want more than that.
Oh, absolutely.
But you could have just drafted the dude yourself instead of trying to go all value. Value is great, but sometimes you just got to go after your guys because it's going to cost you too much to go get them later on. So identify a few guys that you must have on your team and be okay with drafting them around too early versus around too late, and then go value after you have your guys. We'll be talking next week about a few strategies involved, and I believe we'll be talking DFS next week as well, because that's going to be leading up to week 1. So we have made it through the dog days of summer. We are here, and just because we're here don't mean we stop. We got you ready for the draft. Now we're going to make sure you're ready week to week to dominate your league. And remember, above all else, good people, always tell the truth and nothing but the truth. We out.